Yep. Yo, welcome to the Ice Palace. Welcome to the Ice Palace. The Ice Palace. Ice Palace. Ice Palace. Bill's house. Tampa, stand up. Yo, welcome to the Ice Palace, chilling where the storm's at. Phil dropped the blueprint, boom, now the bolts flash. Bradley with the wrist shot, Pooper with the pad smash. Tampa got the thunder, better run when the lights crash.
Hey, Ice Palace, yeah, we keep it all cold. 92 roots, now the whole squad gold. Lightning in the building, legends never fold. Blue boat strike hard, watch the story unfold.
Phil Esposito walking in like a boss, selling ice in the heat. They thought he lost, but he flipped that swamp, froze it like a chain, turned palm trees into hockey fame. Bradley snipe goals, crowd go boom. Sisterelli get gritty in the locker room. I'm a lick first pick, young kid can't quit. Grattan throwing hip checks harder than the drum kit. Pooper on fire, pad stump like bass. Expo hard rocking every seat in the place. We came from tents, from sweat, from grind. 92, baby.
Yeah, we built this mine.
Yo, welcome to the Ice Palace where the big dogs skate. Phil built the kingdom, now we dominate. Rally with the sauce, Pooper shut the gate. Boats on attack, too fast, too great.
Hey, Ice Palace, yeah, we keep it all cold. 92 roots, now the whole squad gold. Lightning in the building, legends never fold. Blue boat strike hard, watch the story unfold. Now fast forward, yo, the future's in stride. Angel with the slapper like, move to the side.
Pooch in the slot with the no-look dish. Make a goalie lose sleep, make a defense wish. Braden point bullet, skating like a blur. Hedman crash walls, thunder when you hear him stir. Vasilevsky masked up, beast in the dome. Kicks out pucks like he's throwing stones, cones home. Now the old school meets the champions here. Ghosts in the rafters, players we revere. Phil's voice echoes like a hype man shout.
Feelings gon' never tap out.
Hey, Ice Palace rockin', better brace for the shake. Boat blue booming like a coastal quake. Tampa got pride and we rep that state. From 92 grind to the back-to-back plate.
Hey,
Ice Palace, yeah, we keep it all cold. 92 roots, now the whole squad gold. Lightning in the building, legends never fold. Both strike hard, watch the story unfold.
Ice Palace. Ice Palace. Phil's house. Tampa, stand up. Ice Palace. Ice Palace. Phil's house. Tampa, stand up.
Yo.
Welcome to We the Thunder. My name is Rob. My friends call me Shooter. You can too if you're watching or listening to this show. It is We the Thunder. If it's your first time here, it's kind of a surprise, but welcome. We talk about the Tampa Bay Lightning from a fan's perspective, and we break up the season into little bite-sized chunks, week by week. So we're gonna talk about the last week of Lightning hockey, and if you're looking for somebody on the screen named Thomas Schooley, we fired him. We kicked him to the curb earlier today. We've got a temporary co-host tonight. We don't like to have her on the show when we're both here. So we have to split it up. We have to split our time up with Deandra Liu, a journalist for the Hockey News. You can hear her. You can read her articles there. You can hear her on the radio. I've heard her on The Bone. I've heard her on Sirius XM radio. I've heard her on ESPN radio. I've seen her on the NHL Network before, and she is right here, and I think this is her third time. So the third time gets you one of these. A lightning strike. So, hey, welcome back. We appreciate you jumping on here. And by the way, I'm kidding. Schooley will probably make an appearance here later in the show. He's doing his baseball thing. This Schooley guy, big baseball guy, apparently. I'm trying to get him to pay attention to hockey again, but Lightning hockey. I do want to talk about the last week of Lightning hockey with you, but we haven't really got to talk too much this season at all about, what your impression of this season has been. We've had the Stadium Series outdoor game, which was an amazing experience. We had a break. We got to watch Olympic hockey. But let's start just with the Bolts season. It's been a little bit of a roller coaster, starting on the low point of that roller coaster, and everything's kind of gone up, 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 up. And then we've kind of hit that downhill. And hopefully here, as we go into the playoffs, we're back kind of on our way up as the team gets healthy. But what has your thoughts been about this season, as really we only have about 15 games left until the playoffs?
Yeah, well, thanks for having me on. like you said, I think I'm echoing a little bit, so I apologize. Um, I try to come on once a season. That's my goal with you guys. So I feel like I'm a little overdue here, but I think overall there's a lot to take from this season. I feel a lot has happened. The start, obviously, slow start, kind of mimicked what we've seen since the Olympic break, I would say, like very similar. And then everything in between was really good. So I think overall we've seen players that we weren't expecting step up, and we found out that the future of this team is really good. Um, Look at like Dominic James and Stu. Those two come to mind, but also like Declan Carlisle. Um, and so I think that's been a highlight of this season, right? We've seen a lot of players come up from Syracuse, and it's been really fun to cover this team, honestly. Um, really good vibes in the locker room this year. I think there's like that young energy mixed with the veterans, and I'm excited to see what they do for the rest of the season. I'm not worried about the little slump that they went through. I think what we saw last night is more of like what the team actually is.
Yeah, and that's a great point with, seeing some of these new players come in and them meshing with some of these players that have been here for a while. And you had a great article this week about one of those players who's been kind of up and down with Connor Geeky, right? And the impression that I got from that article is like, wow, what a good attitude to have, especially for like a 21-year-old guy who, obviously wants to play in the NHL. That's what all these guys want to do. And he's got that taste. And if you look back, he actually played a lot last season. I think people will be surprised how many games he played. I think it was over 50 games last season.
Yeah.
And then to have him come up during training camp and then play a little bit and then go back down, but also have a really great season in the AHL. Was I right with that takeaway as far as like, man, this guy really has the right attitude that you have to have, because not everyone can jump to the NHL level at 21 years old.
Yeah, no, I'm glad that that was your takeaway. Again, I don't know, am I echoing for you guys?
I don't hear an echo, but let me
Okay, so it's just
mute
me, which I
myself
can
in the
handle it. I
background
didn't
to
want to
see if
drive everyone else crazy. But
background to see if it fixes it. So let me know if it's like, if it gets worse, give me a heads up.
it's okay. I can deal with it as long as I'm not driving everyone else nuts. Yes, Geeky is he is the future, a piece of the future of this team. And the point of that article was, yeah, I think it's really impressive the way that he's handled it. And he's so young. Like, I think we all forget. And Julian Breesbaugh actually made this point in his midseason availability. Like, he may look like a grown man, but he's only 21 years old. Um, so he still needs to develop. Um, and they want him to have a big role on this team in the future. And so, in order to do that, the only way you can do it is get a lot of ice time in Syracuse. And he wasn't playing on the power play here. He wasn't getting those opportunities to get experience and see how he would handle situations. And there was a lot that I couldn't put in that story because I didn't want it to be insanely long. But he just told me overall, like, he feels like he's matured as a person. And to be honest, I spoke with him a few days before he got sent to Syracuse, and I can see such a difference in how he carries himself, his confidence, everything. Um, so yeah, that was the point of the article, but not everyone accepts going down to the AHL like that. Like, he is handling it so well. He's a really grounded guy too off the ice. He comes from a really, like, his family keeps him grounded.
Yeah. And I wonder how much of, his maturity, because I just kind of laugh at, him being 21, and you don't think about how young some of these guys are. And, I don't know how you are, but 21-year-old Shooter was borderline nightmare material all around, all
Yes, I
around.
think about that all the time. I'm like, I could not handle this. I could barely like get to the you know what I mean? Like, it's just no. I
Yeah.
was not able
And
to
I
handle
could
this pressure.
I could only imagine being, or thinking that I'm ready to play in the NHL and this team's kind of like sending me down. So, I mean, yeah, like I said, it was great to see just kind of him having the right attitude and realizing, there's a process for this. There's a reason why he's down there. He's getting the reps and he's playing well down there too. And I know a lot of Lightning
Yes.
fans are disappointed. Actually, Schooley, I wish he was here because we could call him out. But 2 weeks ago, he was ready to trade him before the trade deadline. He said I'd give him up, and also we won't talk about the other players he would trade. But I was like, you can't give up on a 21-year-old center who's 6 foot is four or something like that. I mean, he's a big guy.
Mhm.
And you mentioned in the article, he spent time in the summer with Barb, the skating coach for the Lightning. And
Mhm.
it's hard for these guys that are 6'3" and over to be good skaters. We're used to seeing guys like Victor Hedman in the past skating really well. And you just don't see that from guys that are that tall and big. It's a whole different animal for them. So he's doing the right things, he's saying the
Yeah.
right things. And then again, like going back to his family, right? He's got a brother who's really had a breakout season this year up in Boston. So, and if you look at his statistics, he didn't come into the NHL and just start
Mhm.
tearing it up. It really wasn't until last year where he really kind of hit that 30 goal mark. And that was his first time even passing 20 goals. And that was basically 4.5 seasons in the NHL of consistently playing before he really kind of broke out as an offensive threat. So I wonder how much that really kind of affects his outlook, knowing like he's seen, a family member go through it and look now because he's really kind of emerged as almost a superstar like player in Boston.
Yeah, no, it definitely does. His brother spent some time in the AHL, came up to the NHL, went to the AHL, and he helped him through it when he initially got sent down last season. His brother kind of talked him through it and was like, this is the mindset that you need to have. And if you have this mindset, like it's going to pay off in the end. But it was still pretty tough. Like it was tough when he got sent down in October. In training camp, his number one goal was to make the opening night roster and then to stay for the full season. So it wasn't like he was expecting to go to Syracuse. Um, so it was kind of a hard hit at first, but then once the decision was made for him, he was like, I'm going to make the most of it. So his brother definitely plays a part in that. But he's just a really grounded kid, anyways. Like you said, and he's 21 years old. So that's even more impressive.
Yeah. And just looking at the future, a lot of things can happen. People get moved in the NHL a lot, but if you look at Geeky as a potential center in the future, Sam O'Reilly as a potential center in the future, another guy who's doing really, really well, who we might see in the future. The future is bright, but one of the things that I wanted to talk about today, and it's on our little bullet point teaser, is
Mhm.
are the superstars of tomorrow already here today? Because I had to wear my Cooch shirt after the hat trick last night, the 5 points, second place now
Uh,
for the point race, right behind McDavid, who we'll see on Saturday night. But uh, it was Jake Gensel who became the fastest player in Lightning history to hit 150 points in his 146th game. We've had some pretty good players in the history of this team, and for Jake to do that is a pretty impressive feat, right?
yeah, no, I think there's like I view it as like three groups on this team. There's like the vets, like the Headmans, the Points, Vassy, like those guys. And then there's like that middle kind of group. I'm going, I mean, Cooch is the vet, but then you have like the Hagel, Sorelli, that kind of middle. I've noticed Yanni Gord can hang with the vets and he can hang with the young guys and he can mix it up with both groups. And then you have like the younger guys and the Syracuse guys that came up and they've been up all season. But yeah, getting Jake Gensel, obviously that was the moves were shocking, right? To Lightning fans in general. Like that was just a lot of drastic changes. But you look at just that summer in general, adding Gensel, Geeky, Moser, like JJ Moser is another one, like a young future star of this team. And I've just been like so impressed watching them. Like that whole group, like you said, the stars, the future stars, they're actually already here.
Yeah, and
Um,
that's a good point with Mosier. Like he's a number one D man. I mean, he really is, but he does it in such a quiet manner, and he does it with defense. A lot of the guys that get the credit defensively are the ones that are racking up points. They're scoring goals. Obviously, Radish has really kind of blown up this season with points, but Mosier, it's not that he does it quietly, because I think folks like you up in the box and folks that watch the games like me, like we notice the plays that he's making that maybe others don't, the casual
mhm.
fans don't. But it doesn't really stand out on a stat sheet. You really have to pay attention and see. And we've been seeing it for 2 seasons now from Mosier. And that's the kind of moves that JBB has to do to, at the end of the day, keep his job and really kind of keep this team competing. You've got to take some risks like that. Did I think that it would ever send Sergachev off after, pretty recently signing him to that contract? No. But something's got to give. And when you're playing with this much cap space, JBB, he's done a really good job. We won't bring up the one trade that comes up often on this podcast. Everyone gets a bogey, or not a bogey. I don't know my golf terms. But that one miss was made up with a lot of really great moves. And going back to these superstars of tomorrow already being there today, Hagel. The
Yeah.
stat last night, I mean, four points for Hagel last night, right? But the stat that he hit last night was 60 points in the season. So 4 consecutive seasons of 60 points. And you look at the guys on that list, it's Brad Richards, who everyone forgets how great of a player he is. We were talking about that on
Mhm.
the stream last night when we watched the game. Vinny, St. Louis, and Kucherov. Like that's pretty good company to be in. So you've got a superstar, a couple superstars right here, and they're signed. They're signed for a while. Not to mention Nikita Kucherov, the unbelievable statistic of the day that's been out there. I don't know if Ben broke this. I saw it first from Ben. But the 5th player in NHL history to record 3+ points in 3 consecutive road games, at least 3 times in his career. The other players that have done that: Wayne Gretzky, Jaromir Jagr, Mario Lemieux, and Pat LaFontaine. And here's the one that's really circling around. 93 points in his last 45 games. That's the most by NHL player in that time span since Mario Lemieux 30 years ago, 1995-96 season. So, I mean, how do you explain to people to just enjoy the greatness of Nikita Kucherov that we get to watch like every other night these days?
Kucherov is, I feel like it's almost like he's been so good for so long and is so good all the time that he doesn't get, like, people just assume he's just gonna be good, and then they just don't recognize how good he is, maybe, like, they're just so used to it, and he is quiet about it. Um, but every year around this is when I start making my push, because I vote on the Hart Trophy, and I every year I hear people around the league that get to vote, and I hear the reasons why they don't vote for him, and it doesn't ever make any sense. And so I'm really hoping, seeing these numbers, hearing these stats, which are just insane. Um, I'm hoping it resonates with people, because I think he is very deserving of the Hart this year. He's had just an amazing season, honestly. But Cooch is so good. And one thing that I noticed, actually, because in the press box, right? We're so high up. We're like up in the sky in the press box. But I was watching him and Brandon practice taking reps on the power play, and I was just like watching how fast he is on ice level. Like, insane. So even for me, seeing him all the time, seeing him down low, you really get to see like where his eyes are, what he's looking at, his passes. how fast he is. He's just so good. Like it's insane.
Well, and it's tough to like understand because he just makes it look so easy. It's not
Yes.
like go watch. I'm not telling you because I know you've seen him play, but like for the casual fans out there, go watch a Colorado Avalanche game. Go watch Nate McKinnon skate. It's noticeably different from watching Nikita Kucherov. It's like,
Yes.
and the same thing you can say about McDavid. It's like I don't want to call them tryhards, but like if you look at them skating side by side, it's like those guys are trying as hard as they can, and Cooch just makes it look easy. Like he makes it look so simple. And man, it's just a joy to watch. We were talking about that last night. Like some of the most exciting when you're streaming during a game, you got a lot of time to talk about things. So we're gonna call back a couple of things last night. By the way, if you missed it last night, we were live for the entire game that started at 10. So we had a late night We the Thunder. And I'm not committing yet, but we might do it tomorrow night for the Canucks game tomorrow. But what we were talking about is like, exciting players in Lightning history. Like who have you just enjoyed to watch the most? So obviously Cooch is at the top of that
Oh,
list for most people right now. But it reminds me of Marty St. Louis. Like Marty St. Louis was just so fun to watch. Like it was just a
yes.
show every night. And that's kind of where I compare Cooch because it's just like you never know what you're gonna you're gonna get probably a couple points from him. But it's just entertaining to watch these guys.
Yeah, no, I think also I love when Braden Point gets going. When Braden Point gets going and has good like when he goes on a stretch, he's so fast. And then he and Cooch together are they're like my favorite to watch, I think. I love watching Hagel and Sorelli together as well, but like Braden Point is fast.
Yeah,
Um
the speed you
His
notice
speed
with him.
is insane, and he's another one, he's just, like, flies under the radar and does his own thing, but he's so good. And just to add on Marty St. Louis, like, I love watching Montreal as well because I feel like their entire team has adopted Marty's personality. Um, so I loved watching them in the playoffs, and obviously be able to watch them in the playoffs this year is what it looks like, so, but I think he's really turned around that organization.
Yeah, it's funny because I always think of Marty coaching Cole Caulfield, and Cole's like a smaller guy, and I'm like, you couldn't have a better
Mhm.
coach for this guy.
No,
Uh,
it's perfect.
it just the only thing that bugs me about Montreal and some of these Canadian teams is Caulfield, American. You've got Austin Matthews out for the season, unfortunately, with that hit from
Mhm.
Kudus. But American player, like some of the best American players are all playing up north. You can even add Brady Kachuk, although we don't give him too many props on this show. Up in Ottawa. But I guess it's a good transition to kind of talk to you about some of this Olympic hockey. Did you ever think you'd see Team USA win a gold medal so soon?
I actually thought for sure Canada was gonna pull it off going into the Olympics, like, before everything started, before they played or anything like that, because you're looking at the roster and you're like, Connor McDavid, Nathan McKinnon, Kyle McCarr, like, Sidney Crosby. Obviously, Sidney Crosby got hurt.
Coming back tonight, though.
Yes, and he'll be back tonight, which is really exciting. But, looking at that roster, I was like, "There's no way," and then I know how Coop is, so I, like, had total faith. I'm like, "Coop doesn't lose." Um, but then as they started to play, you're watching these games and, like, the Canada games were very close. Um,
Yeah.
and I was kinda thinking, "Oh, I wonder what we're gonna see." Obviously, we kinda knew it was gonna be USA and Canada. Still such a close game, but it was surprising to me that the big stars what happened to me watching it was like the big stars like Nathan McKinnon, like I was waiting for one of them to come through and win the game for their team and they just like did not do it. Um
That's
so
hockey, though.
that's
That
hockey.
I mean,
That's hockey. I mean
any
the
team
the
can win.
margin of error was so tiny that it was just like whoever was just a smidge better was going to win the game and we saw it happen with Jack Hughes, so,
Yeah,
it
and
was a
and
great game.
Also, I mean, USA, great job. The women winning gold, the men winning gold, sled hockey brought home
Yep.
gold. So it's just been unbelievable. And I think I talked about it on a show 2 weeks ago, but like just the trajectory of USA hockey. It just, you kind of seen it over the last 20 years, just kind of building and building and building. And it just kind of worked out perfectly with, NHL getting back in the Olympics this year. And man, it was great to see USA winning gold.
I have to
Did
say I was so into the women's USA women's hockey. Like they were so much fun to watch. And I watched all of their games and they were so fast and they just had a great dynamic. They were a really fun team to watch. And I was really glad they beat Canada. I was like, this is awesome.
Yeah.
And then also like sled hockey is fun. If anyone on here is not, if they've never watched sled hockey, the Lightning have a team actually. And I've gone to some of their practices and they're very physical.
Yeah.
Like they do not mess around.
I'm a fan of all sorts of hockey. So,
Mhm.
seeing the women's games and being able to see them play, and they're so good. Like they seem so quick out there. And then even some of the sled hockey, which I hadn't really watched that much in the past, but in the last couple of years I've been seeing it. It's so cool because it's like a different version of hockey, but it's still hockey.
It's still the
Uh,
same. Like, yeah, it's different
yeah,
because you have to be ambidextrous and it's a lot of core because everyone has different paths to how they got there. Like I realized when I was chatting with the Lightning team, it's like some were born paralyzed, like there was just different ways that led them to sled hockey. Everyone's story was so different. So you have to be ambidextrous and you have to build your core muscle. And then they like ram each other into the boards and stuff. Like they have rivalries and it gets really intense. So it's really fun to watch. I could talk about them for forever.
Now, did you get to talk to Jake at all about the Olympics and his experience?
I talked to him a little bit. I will say, um, for the Lightning in particular, I think once they were back, it was like lightning, tunnel vision. Because they've had such a great season. I've seen players on other teams like keep going on and on and on and on with it, but like the Lightning were very different. It was very like once you're back in the building, playoffs. So
Good.
I didn't get to talk to Jake too much. I did talk to him a little bit about it. And it was a really cool experience. He did tell me he and Hagel were going back and forth like the whole time. I asked the question about, I think it was like a holding penalty. I don't know if you guys remember that. There was like a lightning
Mhm.
on lightning
With
penalty.
Hagel, yeah.
Yeah, with Hagel. So I asked him about that. Um, but yeah, I mean, it was like an incredible experience for him, obviously.
All right, I want to talk about their return to the ice because we've had about 10 games since then. But before we do that, um, Stadium Series. We don't get these nice things all the time.
Ugh.
And obviously, we talk about it a lot. Someday we'll stop talking about it. Don't you guys worry. But like, what were your thoughts on the whole experience? And you got a different kind of view and experience than us fans did. And we did talk to Jay the week afterwards, Retcher. So we got a little bit of kind of his take and his view on the whole experience. But like, what was it like for you? And did it live up to all the expectations or more, like it did for most of us fans?
Oh, it was so much fun. I feel like I'll be talking about it for whenever anyone brings it up. I'm like, I'm more than happy to talk about the Stadium Series game because it was such a good time. My dad was there as a fan, so I got to hear like his perspective um, of just being out there in the cold. But like, he said it was just so loud and it was like electric. Um, my experience was, I mean, it was awesome. Um, the league was there. We were there as they were building the ice out and they built the tent. And it was crazy to see all the work that they put into it. And then when it was finally game day, it was just so surreal. But you guys saw what it looked like. The stadium, they did such an awesome job. Also, as a Floridian, I was like, is it really 30 degrees? Like, it was just I don't know, I'm sure you agree. It was like meant to be. It was the whole thing was just so surreal. And the
Unbelievable.
game was great. Thank God they
Yeah.
came back and won it.
Yeah. No, I think my section really never felt like we were out of it in that
Mhm.
game. And then man, when that goalie fight happened, like it was
Iconic.
out of body experience for old Shooty Shoots.
I can't
But
imagine what that was like as a fan because in the press box, I don't know if you guys know this, but like if for hockey, for NHL games, the press box is open. And then for the NFL, the press box is closed. So when we were at Raymond James, it's sealed. So we couldn't hear. I mean, we could hear, we knew you guys were cheering, but like it wasn't the same experience that you guys had. So we didn't get to feel the vibes when Vassy started fighting. Everyone was freaking out, um, but I think you guys, it was so loud. I'm sure when Vassy was dropping the gloves.
no, oh, it was insane. I have a pretty good video. Oh, I'll send to you.
Yeah, you
Um,
gotta send it to me
Yeah,
for
it's so
sure.
funny because Jason from Sticks of Fire is sitting right behind me, and he's just like making noises that I never thought I'd hear him make.
It was
It's
so
hilarious.
awesome. Like it was
Yeah,
Bassie's always been iconic, but I mean this is takes it to a new level.
yeah, that was unreal. Uh, Now, did you get to like before the game? Did you get to hang out outside in like any of the tailgate areas at all? Because I thought like that was just one of the coolest things. It was like it's almost like we were at a Bucks game because we're at Raymond James, but it's all Lightning fans, couple Boston fans out there, and everyone's tailgating. And it was just like, what kind of insane alternate universe am I in right now? So, did you get to see any of that, like at least as you're walking in? Because I know you guys probably got there pretty early.
Yeah, I got there super early, but people were definitely tailgating when I got there. And there was so much blue. There was not like it was overwhelmingly Lightning fans. I did not get to experience the tailgates. Again, I just like parked and kind of walked through. My schedule, when I tell you it was so busy, I didn't even have like a minute. My goal was to go. I was actually gonna pop by your tailgate and just say hi. Um, it didn't happen. So I had to look at pictures and videos after the fact to see what the tailgates were like.
Yeah, it was a crazy day, and I was like all over the place that day, and
Yeah.
we got there pretty early too. But yeah, what a great experience, and just like what a wild season it's been with before that the team just going on this wild streak where they just couldn't do anything wrong with some of their best players out of the lineup, to a stadium series game, to an Olympic break where a lot of these guys got to go have an amazing experience, whether you win a medal or not. I'm sure it was great for these guys. And a lot of them showed out. Like Mosier had a great Olympics, and even Chernak played really well for his team. But these guys get back, and there's a little bit of a struggle to kind of get back on track here. Why do you think that is? Do you think this is a little bit of a Olympic hangover, or do you think it's just like, hey, we got to get some games going again and just kind of get back in the routine of things? Or do they just need a West Coast road trip to kind of get the team back all on the same page?
Well, I think I've said this a few times. Anyone who's watched this team for the past, what, like 7 or 8 years, I would say they know that breaks like are not good for the Lightning. They just never have been. um,
Yeah.
and I was hoping that wouldn't be the case this year, but you have to think like from their perspective, it's such a going, first of all, the stadium series, going on a run, right? You're on a high, and then you have to switch. And the Olympic experience was so different for each player. So, like for Chernak, you mentioned Chernak, right? He didn't really expect to be there that long. Like he didn't think that they were gonna be in a medal game or anything like that. And it was a very different experience than like Hagel, who knew they were probably gonna go to the end. They were staying in like a hotel, it's just like it's a lot of emotions and it's a very packed schedule. And then you're coming back and then you're playing with different players. And I think it was more than just the chemistry on the ice. It's like mentally too, there's just so much going on. So I think it's just taking them a little bit. And like I said, if you watch this team for a while, you know that breaks are not breaks are not ideal. But they've also been so consistent all season that I just didn't have any doubts that I kn I feel like they're finding their game again. They've dealt with so many injuries too, so it's like injuries aren't even a not that they're not a factor, but it's not the piece of why they were off, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, and it's tough when it's like it feels like as soon as somebody comes back, somebody's getting hurt again, right?
Yeah.
Like Carlisle goes down, and maybe I don't remember if it was exactly the same day when Paul came back,
Mhm.
but it does
I think
sort
it
of
was.
feel like we're getting to a point where almost everyone's healthy now. Lilleberg was practicing today
Yeah.
with the non-contact jersey, which means you can hit him a little bit. So maybe he gets back in the lineup. Nick Paul's back. I mean, Carlisle's going to be out for a while. Dominic James is going to be out for a while. But you've got all your key guys back, especially on defense. On defense, now we've got that problem. It's a good problem to have. A lot of really good defenders, which honestly, in the past, I've been worried about like defensive depth. And now
Yeah.
we've got some serious defensive depth. But what do you think? Do you think like the injuries is that something that has changed the way that the team is going to look at or change the way that JBB kind of approaches personnel? Because the trade deadline a couple weeks ago, you didn't really see a major move. Yes, we got Corey Perry. I and my take was, the Lightning, he was going to do something. The Lightning were going to make a move. This was a guy that they could bring in. He knows the system. He's going to be right up to speed. You know what you're getting. He's played a lot of games for the Lightning in the past. Um, and then the other side of that is Schooley's like, he really think that they brought Perry in to be, that voice in the locker room, that veteran, that guy who's really going to be the Pat Maroon, if you will,
Mhm.
inside that locker room. What do you make of Corey Perry coming back to the Bolts at the trade deadline?
Yeah, well, I think it's a little bit of both, like what you said. One, I didn't expect them to bring him back. Like, I didn't even think he was on the radar 'cause I was looking at the power play. So I was thinking, like, obviously where Stamkos' spot is, that really it hasn't panned out the way I think that they wanted or like just that they wanted it to, you know? So I was looking over there. I was not thinking about Corey Perry. However, I will say, which I asked Julian about this in the press conference, it's when these guys come back, they walk in the building and they act like they never left. And we've seen like Tanner Jeannot is a player that I mean he's been gone for a while now, so I'm fine like bringing this up. But it was hard. It was a hard adjustment for him to come in late in the season and adjust to their system. So when you bring a guy back like Corey Perry or like Yanni Gord just picked up where he left off. Like there was no transition period. Same with Corey Perry. So I understand that move for sure. And with Dominic James getting injured, they needed somebody. Um, so I think I mean, he can still score. We've seen it. And
Just
then he
came back.
also has that leadership piece. Like he's just very vocal on the bench and in the room. So I think that it's both.
And then I got to ask you, the defensive side, like I kind of alluded to, it's going to be a bit of a log jam here as guys get healthy. Lilleberg, if he's available tomorrow or this weekend, like what do you do? There is a growing consensus out there. Victor Hedman has lost a step. Um, his ice time was down last night, and he's been playing technically on the third line. Although, besides the first line, second and third line are kind of getting the same amount of minutes. Uh, do you think this will become a situation where it's like we're just going to have to scratch in Lilleberg? Like you might have to sit a game as we approach the playoffs or get to the playoffs and, have some sort of healthy rotation on that back end? Or how do you think the Bolts kind of handle this?
That's like the $1,000,000 question. Um, I remember a couple of years ago when we couldn't find a left shot defenseman to save our lives, and we had guys moving, and we were trying to figure out what to do, and now it's the opposite, right? And guys like Carlisle, like I know Coop has been really impressed with him this season, and he's played really well. Um, so that's the $1,000,000 question. I think what the Hedman has earned and deserves an opportunity to, like, he's been injured the entire season. Like, he deserves an opportunity to see if he can get his game back where it needs to be. Um,
So you
and
can't
if that
take
doesn't
Hedman
happen,
out. You can't take Hedman out of the lineup,
no,
right?
no,
He's the
that's
captain.
not. Plus, like, if he can get his game back where it needs to be, like, that's, I mean, that's gonna be a difference maker. You know what I mean? So, I don't think that that happens, but I think there will be a rotation. There's competition. Like, competition is good. And Max Crozier is another guy. Like, before he got hurt, he was playing really well also. It's really unfortunate for him because he worked so hard to get up here, and then he finally gets up here and immediately, he gets injured. So I don't know. I think everyone's gonna have an opportunity, and I'm sure Coop is. That's a Coop thing. That's a Coop. That's a Coop. That's a Coop question.
It's a good problem to have. And
It's a good
again,
problem to have. Yeah.
sorry to keep bringing up last night. If we ever do a live stream, you guys should come check it out. Maybe tomorrow. But the other thing, and we've talked about this a little bit beyond last night, but Hedman, to me, and Thomas looks physically bigger. So I don't know if the injury and surgery has, maybe had him put, even if you put like 10, 15 pounds, which for a big guy like him is easy to do. And it's easy to lose too. So what I was kind of saying last night is like, maybe he just needs to get back into, getting the reps. If he can lose a 10 or 15 pounds, he might be able to kind of get back into where he needs to be. Because it seems like he's been a little bit slower, not his same self. But like, as you mentioned, injuries have played a role. He had surgery in the middle of the season, right? So we'll see how this kind of all unfolds. But good sign, Lilleberg will be back. I really felt for him getting injured when he did, not just because the Olympics were coming up, but because I felt like he was on his game like he'd never been before. Like he was just
He
getting
and
better and
Stu
better.
are very good. Like, he and Stu were a great pairing before he got injured. Um,
Yeah.
so I'm kind of interested to see what happens with that. I know, like, his physicality is important, and he's a good skater. So again, the $1,000,000 question. I wish I had an answer. I have no idea which way they're gonna go with this.
And to Stu, man, he looked great last night too. We saw some lineup changes in the last week too. Um, Last night it was Destu playing with McDonough,
Mhm.
and then they had Chernak
Chernak and Hedman.
playing with Hedman on that third line, and then you still had Mosier and Radish playing at the beginning. I chalk it up to just like Coop mixes up the forward lines all the time. Doesn't as much with the defensive lines because he kind of knows who's who, and it's kind of shocking that McDonough got split up from Chernak because those two have been a great pair for so long. But the other one that we saw recently was that first line, who was just on fire last night. Cooch, Hagel, Sorelli. No chance he splits these guys up the rest of the season, right?
I saw everybody talking about that after the game. Like, you cannot split them up. I think as long as they're playing well, Coop will keep them together. That's the thing, is like he's been trying to move the lines around, like shuffle them up a little bit and see if he can spark something. And it seems like what he did last night worked. So I feel like as long as they're clicking, I mean, that's like an amazing line. As long as they're clicking, he's going to keep them there. But the second they slip, we call it the Cooper shuffle. So
Yeah, he's not shy to change those lines up usually.
no, yeah.
And not bad on that second line. You saw them score the first goal with Point with a nice pass to Gage, and Gage has really been picking up his game in the last month with some goals. So I think as long as that line can click and do their part offensively, I think that top six is going to be pretty solid during the playoffs. And then if you look at the bottom, and we talk about it all the time with the playoffs, you've got to have 4 lines rolling and rolling strong, right? But, we've got that third strong line again. Jurgensen, who's 1 goal away from 100. So close. And he had some good chances last night. Gord and Holmberg, who's been another really great, under the radar acquisition from Toronto during the offseason. Really solid there. Would love to see them put up some points. We need them to score a couple more goals in the playoffs, but even go look at this 4th line now, which has been Perry, Paul, and Bjorkstrand. That's a pretty strong 4th line.
Yeah.
I don't know if I even have a question there for you, but I guess the question is this the team that is going to break this first round exit little problem that they've had the last couple of years? Does it feel different to you?
I will say the company that they have this year is different. And if you look at the teams, like the Lightning overwhelmingly have the playoff pedigree. I think last season, I don't think I know last season, the way that it ended did not sit well with them. Like they've all changed how they play the game, how they approach the season, all of it. Um, and so that's why I wasn't worried. Like I haven't been worried about this little slump that they're in because I know what their end game is. Um, but I definitely think this could be the year. I mean, they don't want they don't want to be out in the first round. Like they're going to do everything that they possibly can to not let that happen.
Yeah.
But they have like a great team. Like this is a very skilled team. I love again that they have like the vets, that middle group, the younger guys, and makes for a really dynamic locker room. And I like you need that. The younger guys too, like if they get knocked down, they spring right up. I've noticed. Like there is a the young guys will just bounce right back, which I mean you need that in the playoffs. So I think that the perfect mix to do it.
All right. Well, we're going to play a game. I was hoping Schooley was going to show up here. And actually, maybe we'll give him 5 more minutes and we'll wrap it up with the game. But we're going to play a game. And by the way, my guests don't know what my game is. So Deandra has no idea what we're going to do. And because for whatever reason, she's never on with both hosts. She's never played one of our games before. So she's probably like, what is going to happen here? And by the way, I'm not ignoring you all in the chat. It's just solo hosting. I can't always get to you guys in the chat. So we appreciate Daniel. I saw you
I
there
see
last.
Derek won. He signed up for the date night on the ice.
GT
So
Financial. I saw that. Yes.
yeah. I don't pick the winners, Derek. So unfortunately, but I did send them your comment. So they know that you were there.
There you go. I don't know if you know this guy, but I think you know his brother or cousin. I forget. If you're still there, let us know. Esteban Encina from up in Maryland likes to tune in. We appreciate you, buddy. All right, so let's talk about the schedule
Wait,
here.
is that Ed's? Is he related to Ed?
Yes.
Oh, nice. I love
Yes,
that.
Distant Thunder there,
Cool.
but definitely a big supporter of the Bolts here. All right, West Coast trip here late in the year. We usually don't have these Western Canada trips, and yes, I know they played in Seattle last night. It's not Canada, but we usually don't have these so late in the season. And I was looking back the last 2 years, we've done really well on these West Coast trips, and that's what had me thinking. And I kind of said it earlier, like, maybe that's what the boys need. They got to get out of town, have that camaraderie, get a couple wins on the road. And there's some very winnable games on the schedule here. So last night, obviously, beat the Kraken, and the Kraken aren't a horrible team, but beat the
They're
Kraken
fighting
last.
for a playoff spot. Like they're competitive.
Yeah, I had that one. If we were going to lose one of the games, there's one that's obvious, and we'll get to that. But I had Kraken as the other one that maybe we don't win that game. But hey, in the history of the Seattle Kraken, the Tampa Bay Lightning have a pretty darn good record against that team.
Yeah.
And we got Vancouver tomorrow night, another 10 o'clock Eastern time spot. Vancouver is a team that should be a win. Now, They beat the pants off of the Panthers last night, which it's not your Panthers from the last couple years. Um, but I have that one as a win. And then the big question mark, which, maybe turned into a potential easier win, although none of these games are going to be easy, is the Oilers on Saturday night. So that's the best team we're going to play in this. The Oilers are going to be right there in the playoffs, but they lost one of their best players. Draisaitl is going to be out for the regular season, so McDavid's kind of out here on his own.
On his own.
They got other players too, but yeah, McDavid's going to have to kind of step up his game, and that's the one where I was like, all right, if we're going to lose one game, it will be Saturday night against the Oilers, and then Sunday it's an 8:00 start time locally. We've got Calgary, and Calgary's another team that's really struggled this season. So the question for you, I'm going to go to goaltending. We got those back-to-back games. Oilers, Flames. We always get it wrong. Who's Coop starting net? We'll start with
For the
Oilers.
Oilers,
Yeah,
Vasi.
that's what I think.
I don't
too.
know that for sure. I'm just guessing.
Yeah.
I'm putting it together.
That's what I think too. So what's going to happen. JoJo's starting that game. But it just
I don't see them. I think that Vasi would want to play against Connor McDavid. He likes playing against guys like that, obviously. He loves playing against Sidney Crosby, Ovechkin. So I think he'll want to play against Connor McDavid. Also, they figure out his schedule usually like at the beginning of the season and like we'll tweak it if needed. But so I think it was probably already decided.
I've
could be wrong.
heard that. So you've heard that too, that they really look at the beginning of the season and really kind of map out like, all right, back-to-back games, this is where we're going to get JoJo in. And then, if there's a long stretch where Vasi's playing, they want to give JoJo a game. So they really do that. That's interesting.
I thought I put it in one of my stories, actually. I've talked to Vasi about it. But they plan that out ahead of time. And like, if they need to make a tweak, but that way he knows mentally when he's playing and so does JoJo. You can plan accordingly. So.
And by the way, I have up the last 2 years of this road trip, right? Lightning beat Canucks last year, and this is December. That's why I was saying we usually don't get it so late in the season. So this was December 2024. It was a while ago. But that was the last West Coast trip here. So Lightning beat Canucks 4-2. Oilers beat the Lightning at home 2-1. Lightning beat the Flames 8-3, and then beat the Kraken 5-1. And then if you go back to the season before that, it was very similar results. Oh no, did I lose my spot? No, I got it. Beat the Kraken 4-1, beat the Canucks 5-2, lose to the Oilers 5-3, and then they actually lost to the Flames that year 6-3. So again, if they're gonna drop one, we're eyeballing Saturday night against the Oilers, which are obviously the better team, and the team has struggled to play good hockey in Edmonton.
Yeah, no, I think that they'll be this is a good road trip for them coming out of, the slump that they've kind of gone through. So I feel like they feel confident watching them play last night. I think they feel confident and they'll be good to go.
Well, and then the crazy part is when they get back, 7 straight at home.
At home.
And then you're kind of right there, right at the playoffs. So we're the playoffs are going to be here before we know it. And Thomas Schooley apparently is not. So,
Yeah.
All right. So this is going to make this game a little bit harder for you, but I believe in you. I believe in you.
Oh, God.
You can do this. Let me get rid of Schooley's little box here. Now he's truly fired. All right. So, you know what yesterday was?
St. Patrick's Day?
You got it. St. Patrick's Day. What is the color of St. Patrick's Day?
Green.
Green. So, how well do you know your NHL green teams? So there's technically 2 lists here. One is teams that are currently in the NHL that have green in their logo. And then the other list is teams that have maybe moved to different locations, or their original logo had green in it. So this is a test, and I will say this one's
God.
kind of hard. But let's see. Let's see. You don't look
I can
very
do
happy.
current teams. How's that?
All right. Let's see how you can do here. Give me 3 current teams that wear green.
Dallas. Do we count
Yeah.
teal, or do we count like teal as green? A shade of
So I
green?
will say I'm not counting the Sharks on here. So good catch there. The Sharks are not on here. That is teal.
What about Seattle?
Seattle's that kind of like tealish green, that they're not on there.
So you're saying
One's
there's
really
3 teams right now that have green
so
in their logo.
one's very hard. And then one is so obvious that if you're not thinking about it right now, you're going to be like,
What conference?
they are both in the West. One is not the primary color at all. The other is the primary color. And they wear multiple shades of green.
Oh my God.
One's a very loud, ugly version, and we do not play well there.
I just immediately thought Dallas. I can't think right now, honestly. I've had such a long day. I don't know.
All right,
You have to
I'll
give them
give
to
it to
me.
you. This is going to be the one that's gonna get you, and you'll be like, I should have known that
It's gonna
one.
drive me nuts. Oh my God.
And then
And
3.
then I should have known when you said we don't play them well. Like we never play Minnesota well.
No, we lost to them again in Minnesota this year, not too long ago.
Mhm.
All right, this one though, I didn't think you were gonna get this. This is why I wanted to do like the game with Schooley, because you guys could have gone
Mhm.
kind of back and forth here. This one really tough because it's not the primary color at all. Little green in that Blackhawk
Oh
feather.
my God. That one doesn't count.
It counts.
Minnesota, I should have known.
The green is there. All right. Do you want to take a stab? Take a stab at this. So I'll give you some hints. 2 of these teams have relocated. One still wears the jersey occasionally, and they're in the East. One, they've completely changed the branding, and they say this team might come back.
Oh, Arizona?
Little bit of green on that Coyote pants. Who knew Coyotes even wore pants? I love the Arizona branding, by the way. I love
I
that
know they
little
could have done a
circle that
lot
they
with it.
have.
I think about that too. But Utah, like, I love Utah's branding.
It's cool too, yeah.
Mhm.
All right, number 1 here is East Coast classic team. Like they changed the name when they moved. In the
East
East,
Coast.
played the Lightning in the last week, but under their new name, which they've had for a while now. It's one of my
Wait,
favorites. I actually have a shirt of these guys, even though they play against
what?
the Lightning all the time.
Who did we play in the last of Detroit?
I have to give you one of these.
Oh my God.
I'll give it to you. I'm upset. I'm legit upset you didn't get this one because I love this logo. Ready? The whale.
Oh.
The whale.
I wouldn't have gotten that though. I wouldn't have thought of that.
Carolina still
No.
wears them sometimes.
I know, but they
And
don't
I
wear them a lot. But
Yeah,
you're
and
right.
well, they merchandise them a lot. When I went
Yeah.
to a Canes game, I bought one of the shirts with the whale logo on it.
Nice.
And then you probably wouldn't have got this one, but we do play them tomorrow, so I put them on there. And this was the original logo. Canucks have had some pretty interesting logos, but this is the original logo. So
It's an interesting logo, right? Because it what like how does that resemble? You know what I mean? I don't know.
that's an original idea there with that
Yeah.
logo. But thank you for playing. You win.
Sorry, I didn't
You win.
have a better
That was a tough game. And like I said,
answer. That was tough on the spot.
if Schooley was here, then you both would have been just kind of like thinking the same thing of like, what is it? What is it? What is it? Plus, it's
Yeah.
tough to do on the spot. So guess what? Schooley didn't show up, and you got them all. You win.
So we stand. This is 3 years in a row that I've had one host.
I
And I was
guess
kind of hoping that happened because then we just keep it, and then we could see next year what happens.
at this, and I haven't even heard from the guy at this point. Um, yeah, next year you can't come on with both of us. Like we have
No,
to keep this going.
at this point.
You might be stuck with Schooley, which is not as fun, but the following year will be good.
Yeah.
If you're not like, a mainstay on the NHL network and you've long forgotten all of us little Lightning fans, but hey, we appreciate it every single time you come on this show. We love watching you. We love hearing you. And hopefully we'll see you soon at a game or up in that box. We've been staying away from the box this year and leaving it to the professionals. We like to drink too much beer during our hockey games. But we appreciated seeing you up there, and you gave us some pointers too. So we will always be grateful to you. And hey, hopefully we are in for a long second season here. I really feel like we will be.
Yes.
So hopefully we'll talk to you a little bit, and at least on X, people can follow you at Deandra_Lou. It's on the screen right now, and we'll put it in the notes for the podcast. You got anything else to tell the Bolts Nation out there?
No, but I love connecting with them on Twitter, and I feel like we have a really tight knit fan base. So it's good to see some of them on the chat too. But
Yeah.
yeah.
If for some reason you are following this show and you're not following Deandra, I feel like everyone that follows the show follows you. If you're not, like, you should be. Like there's
Entertaining
lists.
on my page, I will say that. I mean, if you're like, oh God, we have Buffalo fans, but it was mostly Panthers fans all season long on my page. I had to mute all of them, and so I wouldn't see them, And then
Yeah, I
now it's
saw them
Buffalo
harassing
fans.
you.
They came out of hibernation. I'm like, oh my
Right.
God.
Yeah. What is this? And
Like,
by
I
the
didn't
way,
even know you guys had Twitter. Like,
yeah, I've never seen these guys before. I don't think
No.
Twitter existed when Buffalo was good.
No,
Back
yeah, they're
then. But
out
yeah,
there now.
they came
So
out of the
it's an
woodwork.
entertaining time on my page.
And the Panthers fans have gotten very, very quiet.
They're
Where'd they
quiet.
go? I love it. All right. Well, hey, again, thank you. Let's wrap this thing up. We will see you. Thomas, we'll see you next season. I'll see you in 2 years.
Yeah.
I'm sure we'll see you around the rink. Thank you again, everyone out there. Stay tuned. Make sure you follow We the Thunder at Shooty Shoots. I'll let you know by tomorrow afternoon if I'm going to stay up late and sit here and watch the game with you guys. But until then, this has been We the Thunder. Don't forget to be the Thunder.
That's it? Yo. Yo, welcome to the Ice Palace. Welcome to the Ice Palace. The Ice Palace. Ice Palace. Ice Palace. Bill's house. Tampa, stand up. Yo, welcome to the Ice Palace. Chilling where the storm's at. Phil dropped the blueprint. Boom. Now the bow splash. Bradley with the wrist shot. Pooper with the pad smash.